Welcome to our lesson video for solving exponential and logarithmic equations. To get started, I'm going to call this our wheel of knowledge. It's kind of everything that we need to know to be successful at solving our log and exponential equations. We'll focus on some things more closely. In particular, first let's start at this top spoke of the wheel and just recall how to convert. So this is the key, whether you're converting from a log to an exponential. And so here's how this works. I start with a log, so that means I'm going to try to get rid of the log. I'm making an exponential expression. Whatever number is first, so see how that 6 is first, it stays first. These two guys switch places. The 3 becomes the exponent, and that should equal 216. And in fact, 6 cubed does equal 216. Now I can go the other way. I'm starting with an exponential. So it's like I'm starting with my answer to number 1, and I want to take it back to a log. Well, obviously I'm going to first write the word log, and then I'm going to follow the same order. Whatever was first stays first, just that it's a little base. And then the 9 and the x are going to switch places. So the 9 is going to be after the 3, and this log base 3 of 9 will equal x. This next one, like the first one, I started with a log, so I'm going to make it an exponential. The 5 first, and then the 2 and the x are going to switch places. So I'm actually going to have 5 squared equals x, which if I were solving, 5 squared would just be 25. All right. Another spoke of this wheel is this change of base spoke, which lets you evaluate the value of a log using your calculator. And this tells you the breakdown of what to do, but I'll write it over here to the side. So like this number 4, here's how I would type it in the calculator. I would type it, your calculator needs to have a log button. I would type it as log of 28, notice it's the second number, divided by log of 6. Okay, so when I type that in my calculator, be careful if your calculator automatically pops up parentheses, make sure you end them. But log of 28 divided by log of 6 will equal, I'll round 2 places, 1.86. So try it out on your calculator and see if you get the same decimal. The next one, I would do log of 3,125 divided by log of 5. And this is going to equal, let me type it in real quick. It's going to equal 5. Okay, so we're going to be using the change of base formula when we get to solving as well. Now the next thing is condensing. So these 3 spokes. Think about when we played Battleship in class. 2 logs are added, means originally they were multiplied. 2 logs are subtracted, means you originally had division, and if there's a number out front, it was a power previously. So, for example, this 2 was a power, and why was the 5 and the x logs added? Because originally 5 and x were multiplied. Just remember x had a power of 2. Okay, one last thing that I want to talk about, these couple spokes over here. Whoops, let me add a page here. Sometimes we're going to have e to the x power, and we're going to want to get x alone to know what x equals. Well, how do I do that? Well, the special log that we talked about, the natural log, will cancel out an e and simply leave you with x. Okay? So we're going to use that. Similarly, what if I had it this way? Oops, where's my pen? E to the natural log of x power. Come on now. Whoa. Stop. There we go. Hang on. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry about that. It was fritzing out on me. Oh, come on. Okay. So, e and the natural log will cancel each other, similarly like what we just talked about. Goodness gracious. And this will equal x. We'll Come on now, what's the problem here? No. Sorry. Okay, so let's look at our first equation. I have them separated, log versus exponential equations. The first step for a log equation is to condense if you have more than one log. Since I only have the single log, I'm okay. I do need to convert though. So think about the first 3 examples we did. Whatever the first number is, stays first. Okay? Then the x and the 4 are going to change places. So all I need to do to have x solved is simply know what 3 to the 4th is, and that's actually 81. So there's my solution. Let's look at another one. Again, I don't need to condense, but I do need to convert. So get rid of the log, keeping 5 first. This quantity x minus 3 and the 2 are going to switch places. So first thing to proceed, what is 5 squared? Well, that's 25. And how can I get x by itself? Well, I can add 3 to both sides. Okay, so x will equal 28. That'll be my solution. Ooh, now here's one where I got more than one log. So I'm gonna have to condense them. So think about, why are those 2 logs added? Well, that was because 7 and x were at first multiplied. Remember, if there's subtraction, it means there was division, and you would have a fraction. But since I have addition, I'm gonna multiply. Now I'm ready for the next step, which says convert. So the 4 will stay, raised to the 3rd power will equal 7x. What is 4 cubed? Oh, that's 64 equals 7. And so to get x by itself, just simply divide by 7. So you could give me the fraction, x equals 64 over 7, or you could put that in your calculator and give me the decimal, like 2 places, 9.14. Either one will work. All right. Now let's look at when we have x as an exponent, in other words, an exponential equation. First thing first is to isolate the power of x. So get 3 to the x alone. So what needs to move? Well, that plus 1. And I'm going to move it by subtracting 1. So 3 to the x will equal 21. Now the answer here is not 7. You can't divide by 3. This isn't read as 3 times x. This is 3 to the power of x. So, you know, 3 to the 1st is 3, 3 squared is 9, 3 cubed is 27. Whoa, I just blew past 21. So that means my x has to be somewhere between 2 and 3. But how the heck do I figure out the decimal? Well, we're going to use that change of base. Well, sorry, we're actually going to convert to a log, first of all. So take this exponential to log form. So the 3 stays first, and then the 21 and the x are going to switch places. Then I'm going to use the change of base formula to know what this decimal is. So log of 21 divided by log of 3. And that'll tell me what x is. And so let me type that in my calculator real quick. Log 21 divided by I believe it's 2.77. My calculator wasn't cooperating. So that there would be my solution. All right, same thing again. We want to isolate our power of x, so we need to get rid of that minus 3 by adding 3. So 6 to the x plus 2 will equal 10. Now I'm ready to convert to a log, so throw that word log in there. 6 was first, so it's going to be first still as the base. Then the x plus 2 and the 10 are going to switch. So base of 6 followed by a 10, and that should equal x plus 2. Now use that change of base so we can figure out the decimal of log base 6 of 10. So log of 10 divided by log of 6 equals x plus 2. And let me type that in. Log of 10 divided by the log of 6. And now I'm going to keep this on my screen. I'm not going to write it on the computer. On my calculator screen, I got like 1.285, blah, blah, blah. Okay? To get x by itself, keep that decimal on your screen, but just in your head, know that to get x by itself, we would have to subtract 2, right? So that decimal that you should have kept on your screen, hit minus 2, and then the final x value is 0.71. Negative, sorry, 0.71. All right, let's try one more. We got a little bit more things to move here. We got to subtract 6. Okay, so 5 to the x equals 50. Now, 5 has the power of x, and that 5 to the x is being multiplied by 2. I cannot multiply and make that 10 to the x. That's not how it works. To get rid of that multiplication, I have to divide. Okay, so then that way 5 to the x is by itself, and that will equal 25. So what power of 5 equals 25? Hopefully you can do that one in your head. 5 squared. But if you couldn't, you could do log 5, 25 equals x, and then you know log 25 divided by log 5. But hopefully you could know that one just by looking at it. Okay, now let's look at some that have e in them. Kind of the same idea. We want to get e by itself by dividing by that 2. So e to the x equals 5. But now how can I get rid of e? Well, remember that one spoke that I showed you? Throw a natural log in front of it. Literally, just write one in front. Just remember that if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. So these guys got rid of each other, and I'm simply left with x equals the natural log of 5. But now on your calculator, by the log button, there should be an ln button. So I can find the decimal value of natural log of 5, and rounded, it's actually 1.61 if I round 2 places. Pretty cool. I think I've got one more. Get rid of that 3 by dividing. So e to the x plus 4, let's see, x plus 4 equals 6. So to get rid of that e, do that natural log in front of both. So x plus 4 equals the natural log of 6. Now be careful. Do this in your calculator first, natural log of 6, and get the decimal. And then keep that decimal on your screen. Because to get x by itself, you're going to have to subtract 4. Okay? So after you've calculated that in your calculator, then have that on your screen and hit minus 4. And then you should get an x value of negative 2.0, let's see, 21 if I round it 2 places. Okay? So that's the last of my examples. That's how we solve logarithmic and exponential equations. I will see you next time. Keep learning and have fun.